Danger! Wei-shin! Alert! You had a bad handshake with your favorite idol. The world's ending, right? Here's the things you gotta remember when you have a bad meeting with your idol. Well, first off, it is not the end of the world. Unless you whipped out your dick or something, you can come back from most anything. I'm sorry if that was very male-oriented, but girls, you don't need our help. I see y'all getting hugs from idols all the time. So there are a multitude of factors why an idol conversation can not go the way you want it to. I think one of the big ones is expectations. We all dream big and we hear stories from other people. We think, that's great, I want that too. And sometimes it doesn't turn out that way. I think the way you should go into it is to remember that your relationship with your idol is yours and yours alone. Enjoy it for what it is. Because unless you're living in Japan with lots of disposable income, you're probably not going to be like best friends. Another thing to remember is that some of these idols have never met a foreigner before. Or they might be more on the shy side. At this point, I think it's a lot less of a problem with groups like AKB. I think it's pretty safe to assume that they've all met a foreigner at some point. Unless they're incredibly new to the group or something. But I've gone to some indie shows where I was the first foreigner they've ever met. Or at least that's what they told me. Sometimes you will get an idol who just doesn't have much to say. I wouldn't take it personally. Sometimes idols just have off days too. I once went to go meet one of my favorite AKB members, and it was a super detached interaction. I read around and found a rumor that she wasn't super friendly with foreigners. Or maybe she's just intimidated by them and afraid to try to use the language. And then also take into consideration that I'm 6'2" and towering over her. I think you can't ever tell by just one interaction. My recommendation would to be go a few times, especially on different days. And in the case of the 48 family, at different time slots. Because I assume you'll be a lot more energetic in your first slot than you would be in like your 7th. But then again, if you're not a morning person, you could be a lot more sleepy. So I think for all of us, one bad handshake shouldn't mean anything. You've got to collect more data, and then you've got to compare on an overall scale. This is also why I would recommend not picking an Oshi until you've at least met her. From long distance, it's easy to pick someone by glance, or just on how they look, or their mannerisms on TV. But you never know how they might be in real life. They could be exactly the same, or they could be completely different. I've been told multiple times by people that I'm a lot different in person than I am on the internet. I think also you gotta remember that you're a stranger. You might know yourself very well, but going up to someone else who doesn't, it's a learning process. Sometimes they may feel immediately comfortable, and other times they may be a lot more cautious. This could have to do with so many different factors. It could be influenced by the way you dress that day, whether you're smiling or not, which by the way, if you're nervous and not smiling, is going to make you look a lot less approachable. Or maybe you remind them of somebody they know in real life, which could work for you or against you. One thing that I haven't had to deal with is that I'm Asian. So up to the moment until I open my mouth, a lot of times they can't tell that I'm a foreigner. But I have friends who go to shows, and the moment they walk into the place, everybody knows this guy's not Japanese. You'd think that it'd be a curse. But I've seen it where the idol will call them out in the crowd because they can recognize them out of everybody. I guess if you have any specific questions, you can ask them in the comments below. Tomorrow I'm specifically going to post a tips for handshakes video, and I'll talk about some of the things that I recommend doing. Again, I want to end off by reiterating that it's not the end of the world. Sometimes you just get hit by a speed bump. You just slow down and then you keep on going. So good luck out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.